look at that. I've already got 2 reviews under my belt. This is going great. Both coming out with some pretty good marks, but you know, maybe I should switch things up a bit. Maybe I should play a bad game to get more diversity in ratings. Yeah, okay, great. Let's see, what we got here? Sonic Boom, Duke Nukem, Tom and Jerry and the Fist of Fury, Sticker Star. Oh, here we go! Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Sure, that's not an unpopular opinion anywhere at all. Ha! Look, I don't like this game. Something about it just gives me a bad taste in my mouth. I've made a full 100% OP of the game, saying most of the qualms with the game that I had, and it was met with quite a bit of hostility. So for one video, I'm going to bring back my old rating system just to rip into just how unorganized and frustrating this game is to me. For those that don't know, the old rating system breaks down games into 10 categories, all being marked out of 10 for a total of 100. The categories change depending on the game since some are less relevant than others, but anyways, with that in mind, let's jump into the game. So we start off with Luigi doing what he does best. Nothing! He's relaxing in his chair inside the new house, the rank D version of the original mansion from the first game, by the way. Soon after, Professor Egad appears on Luigi's TV and swiftly warps him into his lab with the intention of sending him off on a ghost hunting mission. Luigi can hardly say no when he's dissolved down into a bunch of pixels. We then hear about the ghost and how they used to be friendly assistants to Egad before they turned bad, causing him to have to escape into his little hatch, which was told in the most longest piece of expedition you will ever experience. This opening cutscene, by the way, is the most character you'll see out of Egad for the entire game, but more on that later. The reason for all the ghosts turning bad is because the Dark Moon was shattered into pieces in the sky by some mysterious figure. I wonder who it could be. Could it be the guy whose figure is clearly recognizable and barely hidden in the cutscene? Maybe it's the guy who shows up in the official art of the game, or the bloody loading screen before you even reach the file select screen. Okay, I get that you're going for some dramatic irony and that we know who it is and they don't, but they don't realize who the villain is until the final mansion, and it's not until you complete the damn thing. I mean, Christ, I was at episode 30 of the LP by this point. What's worse is, we've seen King Boo, by the way that's who it is in case you didn't know, throughout the game, to some degree. Every mansion other than the first reveals a security image showing the ghosts being up to no good. Now sure, in the first couple, King Boo doesn't really make much of an appearance, but in every one we can see a couple of ghosts carrying a sack with something in it. Looks like some kind of frame. I wonder if it's the same as the last game. Mario's stuck in a painting. I guess even he wants to relive the 64 days. But anyway, plot-wise, that would make sense. Yeah, okay, cool. Mystery solved. For the audience. Luigi and the genius professor himself just continue to question it every single time. Okay, you can see a foot that time. Not conclusive evidence, but come on! You can see the M on his hat, and they still have no idea who it is. You need an image with like 90% of Mario showing before they recognize him. This isn't just brain dead stupid, it's insulting. And sure, a 19-year-old university student isn't their target demographic for this game, but even still, a kid doesn't deserve this kind of dumbed down treatment. Just because the game is rated E for everyone doesn't mean you need to cater to a 2-year-old who's never seen or heard of Mario before, let alone stops dribbling on his 2DS. Have some decency and respect for your audience, Nintendo, because this is just offensively stupid. And it's not even like funny stupid that Luigi's not smart, because even Egad's there and he's clearly smart. He's created all sorts of inventions, but no, I've never seen that man's hat before. But hey, maybe they just wanted to slow down the pacing a bit to spread out the story. Yeah, okay, sure. Of course, the best way to spread out the story is to wait it out and put 80% of it in the final moments, right? Because that's how this game goes. The pacing is atrocious. In the first mansion, there are 5 missions, followed by a boss mission, and then a bonus mission unrelated to the story. Cool. This formula sticks around in the second and third mansion. Then you come to the fourth, my personal favourite. It's pretty chill. Coming close to the end, you would expect something at least somewhat interesting, but no, there's a whopping 3 missions, and then the boss. What happened to the other 2? Did they just get lost in translation? Was the organising team too rushed to finish the mansion and decided to drop it to finish the finale? I mean, come on! What happened to a rushed game is always bad. At least the boss is cool. And while we're on the subject of missions, the game separates itself from the original version by coming in the form of 5, 10 to 30 minute missions for each mansion, instead of giving us one big session to do as we please. And sure, I get it, it's been modified for handheld gaming. Most people only play for a few minutes as opposed to hours on end with consoles. Okay, but this creates a new form of progression that feels like a slap in the face multiple times a mansion. The way the original game worked is you would explore the mansion room to room, finding keys which would grant you access to another part of the mansion to explore. Great! The way Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon created story progression is basically by giving you the key from the start, then as you approach the next area, it's immediately blocked off from you and you have to go into some sort of obscure goose chase in order to be able to unblock the access to the next area. And that chase is what shows you the rest of the mansion. It both makes each room feel less special, as you'll likely just want to speed past them to get to the final goal, and creates the sense that you're wasting time instead of progressing and exploring. Let me give you an example. The entirety of the second mansion, the Haunted Towers. So firstly, you arrive at the towers and oh! You can't go through the front gates, Iga didn't give you the key. You have to get it out of that plant there, yeah. Okay, now you get to go to the top of the towers then oh! The door's electric powered and so you can't access this path. Guess you have to go through the other tower and walk across the bridge. Oh! The door's missing. Better fill it in. Into the greenhouse we go. Let's just walk through. Oh! Everything's falling over. Now you have to go through the longest path to the other side of the room possible. Time to leave. Oh! Ghosts have appeared now. All the doors are locked until they're defeated. Now there's massive plants in the way of accessing the chest. You getting the point? I mean, my face hurts at this point, but... Okay, let's zoom out a bit and look at the distraction mission to mission, because otherwise this will take far too long. We have no water. We have water now. There's the gate. They broke the gate. Gate's fixed. There's a door now. We need a key. I found a toad. It's not the key, but it has an image. The key's in that room. I got the key from that room. The dog stole the damn key. I sucked up the dog and got the key. Time to take on the boss. Just need to get up. Oh, these stairs. Can you see how this feels like a slap in the face to me? Anyway, story. 34 episodes later, we face King Boo and suck him up at the end. Dark Moon is fixed, Ghosts go friendly, Mario is saved. Woohoo, number 1. Actually, number 2. I'm giving this story a 2 out of 10. The plot isn't so much the issue as much as the progression of it is. The plot's okay. Simple. Easy to follow. But so dumbed down and so interrupting that it feels like a wall is in my face the entire time. And the wall is talking to me in a condescending yet unbearably slow manner. Who's that? Is it Mario? Is it Mario? Not fun. Okay, time to speed things up. Enough ranting about just the story. Visuals are a solid 8 out of 10. It's generic 3D graphics, who cares? Nothing's outstanding, but hey, at least it looks visible. Pixelated, sure, but that's the screen. It's not mind-blowing, but it's not terrible either. Music. It's actually not that bad. Very different to the first game, much less dark and more kiddie most of the time, but I like it. It functions. There's definitely more variety in song choices than the first game. Plus, just listen to the creepier stuff. 9 out of 10. My mind doesn't melt when I listen to it, my head just gently bobs. Replayability. Sure, I guess. I mean, it's easy to replay any section since it's broken down into segments, but when you've played it once, do you need to play it more? The progression is a lot more linear and mission-based as opposed to exploring, so I don't know, I guess it's too subjective to say? 6 out of 10. You can debate on that choice. Characters. Haha, that's plural. Luigi is the most characteristic he's ever been. His hopes, fears, and just his face are so expressive that I can't commend the game enough for it. Egad, on the other hand, does nothing for 95% of the game. He just sits in his lab and lets you do your thing until the end when he finally moves and just stands on the balcony, really. I see where you got your chicken legs from now, Gaddy. Mario has like 3 lines at the end. Woohoo, you saved me, number 1. But hey, at least he looks grateful, so I guess, yeah, is that all it takes to be character development these days? The ghosts are also very characterized. It's nice. I may not be such a fan of their tooth-looking designs compared to the first game, but I can't deny they have more personality. 8 out of 10. I hate the boos though. Their sound effects, their method of catching, their abilities, it's just ugh. And you'd think with that opinion I'd love their death animation, but it doesn't really fit. No pun intended. It just doesn't work well when you have colourful, fun ghost hunting worlds with a few sprinkles of mashing potatoes. Apparently I was very tired when I wrote this script. Bosses. I like them, to a degree. The first is a spider, and I like how you have to use the environment to take them down. Oh, it was just a possessing ghost inside the spider. Okay. The second boss is a staircase. Okay. Again, possessing ghost. Third is a clock, with a possessing ghost. Fourth is an awesome ice wall monster. Still possessing ghost. And the fifth is a possessing ghost with suits of armor. The variety is sort of there, but the fact that you just have to suck them up in 3 sessions every time makes them a little too similar and repetitive, though I like the other elements each bring to the fight. And then we have the massive suit of armor near the end, and hello difficulty spike! Seriously, the damage it does is so high and I struggle so much to dodge attacks that it feels like I'm playing a game of Dark Souls instead. Bad show. And it goes down after one maneuver, simultaneously overwhelming and underwhelming. That's kind of impressive. And then there's King Boo, the big bad boss. I like how there's different segments to this fight. I don't like how they are repeated. Oh no, I'm falling again and into the hallway again. Hey, is this the exact same cutscene used as before? Let's compare the two, put them over each other. Yup. Reusing cutscenes in the final fight. Really, game? Oh, and the third boss fight too. And the escaping dog animation. And the cleaning of the dark moon pieces. And warping away. Wow, 10% of this game must just be reused parts of the other 90%. 7 out of 10. There's variety, but there's also a lot of repetition and bad balancing. There's variety, but there's also a lot of repetition and bad balancing. There's variety, but there's also a lot of repetition and bad level design. The rooms look okay. Didn't really pay much attention to them since they were just on the path rather than the final destination each time. Fun to explore, if everything's done already. And if that's the case, it's not really worth it, is it? 5 out of 10. Actually, make that 4 out of 10. The level design for the Boo fights is stupid. You have to use the dark light to find their path and stun them. But because you're usually in small rooms and the dark light has quite a range to it, you just seem to find them instantly. There's no really, element of finding the path. You just randomly shoot around and find them. You hear their pathetic and then you stun them. Then you don't just suck them up when they're stunned like that. No! You have to pull on their tongue, bash them around the room even though they can go through them usually when they're not stunned, and then you suck them up when they're stunned then. I guess just because they're always on the floor? Nah, no thank you. 4 out of 10. Controls. You can aim using the 3DS. No one aims using the 3DS. There's no second analog stick to aim, so you can look forward or way too high. You get used to it, I guess. Everything else is fine. Just that. Fine. But hey, at least now there's multiple calls for help.
Yo-ho. Hello? Hello? Hello?
And you can run around like a goofball. 8 out of 10. Innovation. Did it bring much to the franchise? Yeah, a whole lot of personality. More mansions, flashing and dark lighting. New ghosts. But also, it amputated the game quite a bit. Where's the elemental abilities? Why does the upgraded poltergeist not have this ability? Imagine adding fire, water and ice to these puzzles. Sounds great. And what about the vast diversity in ghosts with the portrait ghosts? I read that they felt that those battles were boring and that you just had to find the task that stuns them, and even then they were most of the time very samey. And that's fair enough, but why don't you make them interesting? Aren't you a developer? Give them a twist rather than taking them out to follow some generic formula. I mean, look what that's done to Chibi Robo. I know I made a video about you 2 weeks ago, but I just can't let you go, man. You're getting the life sucked out of you, and that's completely ironic. Right, back to Luigi's Mansion 2, which, by the way, is the European version of the game. Yeah, the team couldn't even decide on a title, whether it was because the marketing works differently in the 2 regions or they just wanted to dumb down the idea that this is the sequel, dummy. I don't know, and I don't care anymore. I've gotten off track here. What was I saying? Oh yeah, give us more than a handful of bosses and mini-bosses, and give us room masters. Or what about the gallery? The vault doesn't give us much, especially the Boo cabinet. You can just look at a bunch of idle boos. Riveting stuff. And look at all these statues I earned for collecting all the gems in the game. Look at how each one has a different pose and all the gems are just around the stand. Were the gems just decoration or something? Why couldn't the texture be plated in the gems? Would look cooler and rarer and would be like a homage to the different artistic styles of the gallery portraits. No? Okay. The innovation aspect of this game is kind of balanced with the adding and taking away. But I'll be nice. 6 out of 10 as opposed to 5. And polish. Does it have that Nintendo polish? Not flawlessly. Animations freeze, cutscenes repeat, glitches happen, graphical errors and Sonic Boom-esque faults pop up even in the final cutscene. Although if I'm honest, that happens quite a lot in complete games, including the last 2 games I reviewed. Whoops, don't tell anyone it's got Sonic Boom glitches. Dark Moon is still pretty smooth, but more like your average human skin, not a baby's bottom. 8 out of 10. So with all that rambling put together, we come to a grand total of 66. The game works, it functions, but I'd say it's average at best, very formulaic, and the progression design just brings it down in chunks. But hey, I expect many people will oppose me, so tell me your opinions, but do be nice about it. And if you do have other points, may I suggest you focus on specific categories and how you would rate them differently. Makes for a more in-depth discussion as opposed to a quick jab of an insult. And a note about the rating system, I'll be returning to my more brief formula of just giving out a number. However, I'll also show off categorized ratings at the end of the review, even though I won't explain and justify each one, like I did in this video. It's the best of both that way. Right, I'm out of here and running for that mountain over there before they come for me. My name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit.